What's happening, everybody? TK here, TK and Drinks. We're back for 2026 for our Inside the Mead Maker studio where we dive into the world of mead making. Each episode, I'm bringing you insights, interviews, and everything you need to know to enrich your mead making experience. So, tonight, we're going to be speaking with Miss Alex Horn from um, well, she goes by Witch's Brew Mead there. It looks like she's already sent me a request. Let's get her on here and let her tell us who she is. So she has won several awards in mead making over the past couple years. Seems like there's nothing that she can't quite accomplish if she sets her mind to it, which is awesome.
Awesome introduction. Thank you.
Hey, well, appreciate you joining me, Miss Alex. Always a pleasure to have you around. Now, like I was saying, she's entered in numerous competitions for at least the past since 2024 and 2025. Has uh, a number of hardware to her attribute, and has sent me, thankfully and courteously, one, two, uh, three delicious ass bottles. We're gonna be going through tonight, and maybe one of mine by surprise. So again, thank you for popping in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Why don't you
Um,
go
Go
ahead and
ahead.
give us go ahead and give us a little bit of background, a little bit of what's going on with you and who you is and all that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Alex now Perry instead of Horn. I
Oh,
am now married.
woohoo!
Born and raised in San Diego. Originally
Oh,
from Vista, North County.
okay.
That's kind of where I got into mead maker for over 10 years now.
Oh shit.
And Yeah, it's been a while. Just only the now last couple of years I decided to start competing.
Okay.
Started off really humble. Would go to the Vista Viking Festival every year, and they had some mead there, which was amazing and delicious. And I did
Nice.
not want to have to wait once a year just to drink that, so I did some research. At the time, there was really only blogs to go over for recipes and such, but ended up making a couple melomels, a cherry and a lemon one,
Ooh.
and completely forgot about that for about 8 months. Um, Found it, tasted it, and it didn't taste like poison, so I gave it to
Nice.
my family as Christmas presents and kind of my guinea pigs. And they did not die.
Nobody went blind
And
or anything, so we're good.
yeah, they were a little weirded out at first, but
Nice.
my aunt made a comment. You got some witch's brew going on, which is where the name came from.
Excellent. I love it.
And so I decided I wanted to make more. And at that time, Golden Coast Mead up in Oceanside was the
Hmm.
only meadery in Southern California. At the time, they were going on 7 years. And coincidentally, I worked across the street from them at Albertsons. Um,
Hey
but
man,
I
take
couldn't
the
find them for a couple months because they were kind of in a warehouse area where you would
fairly
have like a
typical.
couple of dojos and car detail places. And I didn't look hard enough at first, so I thought I was just being punked. And just one day, I went for a walk. And I happened to just look at one of the windows and I saw a bee and it said
Yeah.
Golden Coast Mead. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. So I started going there. They had
Yeah.
a lot of pairing events where they would
Hmm.
do meat and chocolate, meat and cupcakes and cigars, etc. And at the time, they were also doing a homebrew club. And I was just really fascinated with how many people were into mead and knew about mead as well, and very supportive. So I just kept going and going. And then eventually I asked Frank Goldbeck, who's the CEO at the time, like,
Hmm.
hey, I am really loving this stuff. Do you want some free labor, some volunteers? Like, I will work for free. I just want to learn the craft.
Right.
So he said, absolutely. I
Nice.
was working under Chris, who used to work with Billy at Lost Cause Meadery.
Oh yeah.
Amazing guy, really taught me the
Hmm.
ropes of how to make a good mead. And they were very kind enough to give me honey as kind of
Oh,
a payment since I was
yes.
volunteering my time. And that gave me more material to just do all kinds of experiments to where it got to the point where my mom thought we had rats in our closet because I had so many carboys bubbling going
The
on at
sound of it
once.
sounded like,
At night, she just heard a bunch of stuff between the
right.
closet walls, and she thought there were rats.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so that's how hard I went. But then I
Fair
went to
enough.
Japan.
Oh,
Stayed there for 3 years to teach English. It is not legal to brew over there except for plum wine, but I was still kind of making some jars on the side and eventually moved back 2021 during COVID
hmm,
and got back fully into making mead. 2024 was when I started to go back into the community as a whole.
hmm.
Found out about the Homebrew Club Quaff here in
Yep.
San Diego, and that's where I met David from Misty Mountain Middery and
Hmm.
Melissa Greenfield, who's a great competitor.
Also, a
And
lot of awards from those guys as well.
yep, and they were the ones who got me into doing competitions. Started out with the club only competitions, which is a fantastic way to get some feedback. They
Sure.
get quite a few entries too sometimes, usually between 20 to 40. And I actually got placed first in all three of my very first entries and got best of show. Was not
Fuck
expecting
yeah.
that, but I was all like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So entered a couple more competitions around, I think, Your Honey or Your Life in
Hmm.
Washington and Valhalla. A whole bunch of. I just started doing it over and over. Whatever David and Melissa were doing, I was doing too,
Yeah.
and I was winning.
And I was winning.
Yeah.
Well, so much so that
Um,
you actually take a home brewer of the year last year.
yeah. So
That's pretty fucking
um,
impressive.
it was my very first time doing the nationals, the NHC.
Yeah.
And, I couldn't have done it without my co-brewer, Doug Brown. He was
Nice.
actually my beer mentor last year because Quaff does a mentorship program where people who
Cool.
want to learn a certain one can get paired up with someone else. And at the time, he wasn't big on mead either, so it kind of worked out between us.
Gotcha.
Um, I wanted to learn how to make sweet stouts, so he taught me how. It ended up tasting really good, and he was like, "Why don't we go ahead and just enter some stuff in NHC?" So we did
Yeah.
some experiments on what we could blend with the stout. So we ended up making a Lahua traditional,
Oh.
which has some buttery notes to it. Blended it, did a lot of trial and errors with the sweet stout for the braggot, and it made it to through the first round. Definitely a lot of conflict, whether it was too sweet or not enough sweet from the judges. So we tweaked it just a little bit and made it a little less sweet. Um, Entered that in the finals, and was not expecting. I would be happy if we would have gotten third place, but really wasn't expecting much. Very competitive last year to where a few of quaffers got medals, but we got the first
Nice.
place, which was great. And I was like, okay, that's it, that's the end. And then they
Yeah.
announced Mead Maker of the Year, and I just see our name and I scream the house down.
Excellent. Well, that's freaking awesome. And I have to be honest with you. Now I'm a bit put it out that you sent me three great meads and none of them are this bracket.
That's because we've made a couple other batches, but it's been gone lickety split.
Well, I forgive you for that because that sounds delicious. Is that something that you plan on like working into regular rotation? Are you still working at or working with Golden Coast in some capacity?
Yeah, so with them, they have been very kind.
Cool.
Because when I moved back from Japan, I moved down to the South Bay of San Diego. So
Oh, so that's a
I
distance from
was,
Oceanside.
yeah, but we still kept in touch, and they
Yeah.
had noticed that I was winning some competitions, and so they wanted to meet with me. They do this cross pollination program where they want to help out people get started for meaderies. So
Yeah.
I know Lost Cause worked with them,
Hmm.
Honey Pot, Mediocrity. A lot of meaderies around here were able to
Yeah.
get some start through them,
Yeah.
because they just want to help spread that community.
And some out of state
And
meaderies too, if I'm correct.
yep. And so they said, hey, we noticed you're doing really well. We got some options for you. Like, this is what we could do. You could pay us a sum and we could make
Yeah.
a huge batch, or we actually could use a little help. So, why don't you go ahead and kind of gypsy brew with us,
Oh
and you
yeah.
do your own recipes and your own label, and we'll sell it for you with our licensing so we can get you started.
Nice.
Because in this
Fuck
economy,
yeah.
can't really afford to get a place right
Oh
now. Probably not the wisest. So even though it's
yeah.
quite the trek to get up there, I was like, absolutely.
Yes.
So I'm up there on Fridays now, making batches, working on my
Yeah.
brand, and then also helping them out with the tasting room.
My heart is like yearning with so much awesomeness. I get to work at Funktastic in the tasting room, but I always like die for those opportunities to get
Yeah,
into the mead lab.
definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful to them for helping me out, and we've had a couple batches last year and sold out really quick. So that
So
gives me
cool.
a lot of hope that
Yeah.
I got something going on.
Dude, that's awesome. Were you able to enter the braggot as a blended stout mead? My understanding is that would be considered as a faux braggot.
So this is just my note. My thing from
Yeah.
Braggots is if you're supposed to blend beer and mead. I hear some people will make beer and then pour the honey and then ferment that way as well.
Right.
So I just went with what my mentor showed me. He's all like, we're
Yeah.
just going to do ratios. We just have to make sure that there's still a big enough percentage to still classify it as mead.
See,
Um,
and that's one of those things that I think is really unfortunately subjective because like nobody is there at the competitions is going to be able to measure out, okay, did you put exactly 51% of your fermentable sugars coming from honey and make it a true quote unquote braggot?
mhm,
Um, I think unfortunately that's one of those things that is getting kind of lost in nuance. But whether it's blended, whether you substitute half your grain bill for honey, and you're just
mhm.
jumping straight in, I think either one is going to be acceptable.
Yeah.
And one of those things is like less is more when you enter it. Just put less down on the information sheet and let it fly.
Because I definitely hear it's split in the middle. Some people prefer one way, some people prefer the other.
Oh sure,
We're gonna still work together in competing with braggots.
yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And TTB doesn't allow additions of honey or of wine to beer. Yeah. So you have to either brew with, in my purist type of opinion, I would say that um, brewing your beer with it, again, taking 50% of the grain bill or 50 more than 50%, 51% of your grain bill and replacing it with honey would be the true way to do a braggot. But I think for competition settings, whether you can commercially sell the product or not, and maybe that is a bit of a thing for commercial mead
Oh
makers.
yeah, for commercial, it's
Which I
it's
mean, you're technically
possible.
now going to be able to. Are you going to be able to even enter as a home brewer anymore, or are you going to have
Uh,
to enter? I mean, because you're technically now. I mean, maybe not necessarily the products you're entering, but you're working at an establishment. Same as me. Now, I have to question that every time I enter as a competition as a home brewer. Am I even legally not legally, but like rules? Am I allowed to?
Definitely, I have to pay attention more to the rules
Yeah.
because some competitions will allow those who are considered professionals to do it as long as they still do with homebrew equipment. So
Right.
NHC, they
Or
do
not at the
allow
place or
professionals. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do allow professionals to still compete as long as they're still doing it from home. So but some competitions do not allow that. So I think Mazer Cup doesn't allow that. So I'm out of that competition now, and
They didn't even
it's
have a
fine.
competition last year. I think they're out of that competition.
Yeah. But I got to do one, I got to do it one time in 2024, which was great feedback. Didn't
Love you,
place
Matt.
anything, but was really happy to at least get a chance before going pro.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, now that you're going pro, let's dive into a couple of these pro meads that you have. These some of these award winners. Now, each one of these has some sort of pedigree to it. Has some sort of something. And I believe, if memory serves from our conversation earlier, we're going to start with the strawberry lemonade, the
Yes, the
driest.
strawberry lemonade.
All
That
right.
one was in the Valkyrie's Horn. And fun fact about that one, it was not supposed to dry out.
Oh,
So my method in home brewing is I use Cefal USO5 because it can only handle a certain amount of sugars before it likes to crap out. And I like to keep my meads sweet.
yes.
I have a sweet tooth. I like dessert. And my method behind meads is what's going to be good for pairing with foods and just yummy sweet treats. And
Yes.
the yeast was just really, really happy. And it fermented out completely to where it was, I think it's 16%.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like it. So I just let it be for about a year.
Oh. Oh, my.
Decided, yeah. Usually my meats don't last that long, but
Ooh.
I didn't care about it, so I decided just to forget it.
Yeah.
But at some point I was gonna have to get rid of it, so I was all like, let me enter this in a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Valkyrie Corners is coming up, so I just sent it thinking it's not gonna do well, and it ended up getting gold in the dry melomels.
Got you. So it says this is a refreshing. Leave subjective words off your labels. Come on. Refreshing dry mellow mel made with wildflower honey, strawberries, and juice lemon. So a dry mellow mel made with wildflower honey, strawberries, and juice lemons. I'm here for that. It sounds delicious so far. And as soon as I hit that cork out of there, man, it was very vibrant strawberry lemon aromatic. Especially most strawberry meads that I've come across is one of the ones that's like really difficult to get the aromatic flavor, the aromatic profile to match up with the flavor profile. You know, you can usually find one or the other being like really intense. But this one, even just straight away, I don't know if anybody can see that, but like you get some really nice legs developing here. You said this one's 16%, so that doesn't really
Yeah,
surprise me. But man, it's got a lot of residual sugar for something that's so dry. How big of a batch was this? Let's go. Hold on,
five
Will.
gallons.
This is a 5 gallon batch.
Yep,
And how much honey did you put in straight away? Whoo, God, it's kind of a little bit boozy on the nose.
about I believe it was 15, around 13 to 15 pounds.
So you're looking at like 3 or 4 pounds per gallon there.
Yep.
Hmm. Definitely nice and mellow. No like harsh alcohol fusels. Lemon tartness on the front. A little bit of strawberry on the backside. Again, I imagine. How old is this? You said?
It's probably almost 2 years at this point.
Yeah, that strawberry is definitely starting to fade off of there a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's in there. I could see where you were going with this, but more importantly, I think you've created a really nice like lemon mellow mel. This is really pleasant in the fact that like I've had some people that have made some like I don't know if you've ever been to like the deep south. They have this drink called skeeter pea. It's like a fermented lemonade type of beverage and stuff. Fucking weird. But nonetheless, there's a lot of fermented lemon type of beverages that have been around, and this one is, I think, everything that those types of beverages would achieve. I mean, it has like this. Um, this actually would, man, and you ramp this up. This would make a really nice like limoncello or something like that.
Yeah.
This is actually really pleasant. Just like a hint of strawberry on the backside. So well done. Kudos to you for this one, and thank you for sharing.
Of course. You mind if I open one of yours?
Please do. Absolutely. I don't even
This
remember what I sent at this point.
banana one, I want to try this one first.
Yes. All right. So that was a five. What started off as like I think maybe a 4 gallon batch of banana. Put Cavendish bananas in primary, and then wild Thai bananas and toasted coconut and raw coconut in secondary. But I didn't leave the stuff in
Ooh.
secondary for near long enough. I only put the coconut in for about, man, maybe 4 or 5 days, 6 days tops, and I think the dried banana was in for maybe a week, 7, 8 days. So I think the banana comes a lot through a lot, but the coconut is really unfortunately not there.
The coconut is definitely there in the aroma. And usually for me, for coconut, I probably will leave it there in the secondary, usually about 4 to 5 days before bottling.
Oh,
Um, just because from what I've heard is sometimes it can come out a little too strong, or you got to be
mm,
careful it's not going to be waxy or fatty. So I just don't want to risk it, and we'll leave it with the assumption that's going to be consumed soon, so it doesn't fade off too
yeah.
quickly. But
One of the things that and I've had that same concern about the waxy and the fatty and the getting that kind of oily texture transmitting from the ferment, from post fermentation into the bottling to the final product. I've gone as far as like taking, like a ladle or something and skimming the top of but I did that, and man, I lost so much product. I would say I lost, man, at least half a gallon over the course of the whole time between, because I would, I'm new at this. I'm still learning everything. So I'm like squeezing the bag, trying to get every last bit of thing I can out of there. And it's like making it all hazy and oily on the top of everything. I'd let it sit down and it would create this but I guess I should have realized that like everything underneath of that was fine. So I probably should have just bottled out from the bottom, since how that's I have that capability and done it. But nonetheless, yeah. So you got something, and I'm glad that the waxiness and the oiliness didn't transmit across there.
hmm
And I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
honestly, if you want to try to get more coconut vibe to it, I would try coconut blossom honey.
And I
That
would
is
not hurt bad.
something I have become obsessed with.
Yes,
Um, I've been exploring into the tropical honeys from a guy named Sean, the honey guy,
I love
based in
Sean. He's
Hawaii.
the man.
Yes, his honeys are fantastic, but that coconut blossom has kind of become a staple for me in the last year. And
Okay.
it's helped me win a couple competitions.
Well, that banana one you're drinking right there was actually made with his some of his guava blossom honey. So
hmm
I would love to get some of his coffee blossom as well, or coconut blossom.
I want to have this with like some upside down pineapple cake or some banana fosters.
Oh, see, yeah, and throw an ice cube in that, and that's that, or an ice cube or two in there, and that's where I'm at with that. Oh, see, look, man, girl already knows what's happening.
What
Um,
did this finish at?
oh, I don't have my recipe in front of me right now, but I want to say it started in so it's sitting at like right around 11.5%. So it was almost 100 points of gravity. I used Lavalin 71B and an RC 212 blend, and I want to say it was like 1160s, 1165 starting, finished at like 1070-ish, 1070, 1075, right around there.
That's
Right
like
around that.
Billy Mead
Appreciate you,
right
brother.
there.
Yeah,
That's
so
Billy Mead because his stuff is sweet. This is
well,
candy
and
sweet.
that's oh, absolutely. And I just talked to Billy a couple weeks ago, or I guess maybe about like 2 months ago at this point. But that's one of the things that I'm really trying to focus on with my meads that are going forward is to target ferment to the final gravity versus trying to ferment dry and then back sweeten. It's seemingly a more difficult process, in my opinion,
hmm
and it's just not something that I want to. It's not a route that I want to go with it. So I figure if I can learn the science behind how many gravities this particular yeast will eat in this particular temperature and environment and woody woo, if I can get all that down and get a rough estimate, I figure if I front load all my honey and I can get it it'll be a better product, give you a better mouth feel, give you a more cohesive, uh, homogeneous flavor.
That's what I like about the ale yeast is, at least with Cephalo USO5, is I don't really worry about getting too much of that yeast strain character. I feel like just all the ingredients, the honey and the fruits is always going to be the star of the show, as
Yeah.
opposed to if I were to use a wine yeast, which I did do at Golden Coast with my Troll's Blood. Um, that one is my homebrew, so that one had the ale yeast. But with the wine yeast, it was night and day in terms of the taste. I was a little surprised with how different it was, and it just kind of made me appreciate the ale yeast more. Because
Hmm.
while the wine yeast is really tasty,
Yeah.
it was not what I was going for.
Got you. I encourage you to try, like, given that you're in the San Diego area, so you don't ever quite get like that upper temperature like they do in like the over in like Phoenix or in the over in like El Centro in the Valley and stuff like that. But I suggest a Kveik, since how you like ale uses, because I've had phenomenal experience with Kveik, and I think it's one of the kind of untapped. I know there's people out there that do it, but I think it's one of the underutilized. I guess is a better way. It's not untapped, but underutilized yeasts out there, because it gives such a clean ferment, especially when you can ferment it cold, you can ferment it warm, you can ferment it really warm, and it still gives you like a nice like ester free profile almost. Like if you just want something that gives you a clean ferment that like almost a neutral palate to build on, Kveik I think is a great one to tinker with.
All right.
All right, so straight away, love the freaking cork. That's like the definition of Merlot. Love it. Oh god, that I wish I could like have a candle that smelled like Merlot cork or like blueberry, blackberry, honey wine cork, because that is absolutely astonishingly amazing. So what was the inspiration behind the Troll's Blood here? So I should have said that before this. So as you were speaking there of the Troll's Blood, here we go. We've got the Troll's Blood. This is the homebrew one again. This is semi-sweet berry made with clover blossom honey, blackberry, and blueberry. Astonishing, deep, vibrant color, nice, brilliant clarity straight away. I mean, we're going for maximum points on clarity straight out the gate. So love that.
So that was one of my first recipes after coming back from Japan.
Okay.
Um, I love berries,
Yes.
blueberries and blackberries, strawberries, all that. So a lot of my melomels will probably have some kind of berry in it.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was just thinking of some fun stuff to do for D&D.
Okay.
We host D&D probably 3 times a week at least. We
I
are
need
the
to come.
nerd house. As you can see, we got some swords and some dragon
Yes.
heads in the background. We got Warhammer, all that.
Oh, I
So
need to
we're
move
kind
out
of
to
the hub.
California again.
We're kind of the hub for all our friends to come and just nerd out.
Are you guys
So
adopting by chance?
I mean, we got a spare bedroom. This
Hey,
is the cat's room, actually.
very cool.
Uh, but
I love
yeah,
kitties.
I wanted to make something fun for the group and
Okay.
want to do something a little D&D themed. And Troll's Blood was one of the first. So I was kind of thinking what colors are going to be
Yeah.
something similar. So I was thinking blueberries and blackberries,
Yeah. All right.
just muddling it up and letting it go, and absolutely loved it. So this is a recipe that I've worked really hard in trying to fine tune between sweet and semi-sweet.
Okay.
um, so probably I prefer the sweeter one, just
Sure.
because I have condensed it down to a syrup to put over ice cream.
Yes, I'm here for that. See, now that's man. Why can't you send your boy the fucking syrup ones? I want a little bit of everything. But this smells amazing. I'll tell you what, like it definitely comes across as I get both blueberry and blackberry on the nose. Definitely more of a like a vinous type of characteristic that leans much more towards your what I would call it's weird in the mead world to use the word traditional, but like more your traditional style, your vinous, your something you would find at like a Renaissance fair or something like that. So I think you've nailed all that. But it also looks like it has a characteristic of not, um, not being mild on flavor because I think there's a lot of misconceptions and negative connotations attached with that. So
Mm-hmm.
I love what I'm seeing. You know what? Actually, kind of smells like. I mean this in the best way possible. It smells like
Go
a
for it.
Capri Sun. It smells like a Capri Sun.
I'm not against that. I do enjoy Capri Sun still. But the semi-sweet I do appreciate,
Ooh,
especially during the warmer months.
yeah.
Um, and I did get a kegerator later in last year, so I am gonna be doing a little more carbonating.
Oh, cool.
Just didn't have time to carbonate with that
Sure.
because I think semi-sweet it would be nice to have a little bubbles in it.
This would do really well as like man, I don't even know what you if you like just cut it down a little bit, but or made like a carbon, get it down to like about 7.5%, maybe 6.5, 7.5%, somewhere right in there. Carbonate the shit out of it. Man,
Mm-hmm.
you would have this thing would be like blueberry wonderland or blueberry blackberry. I mean like oh man, this is great. Or man, even potentially into like slushy format or something. I think this is a
Oh,
great
trust me,
base.
I've already done that. I got myself a ninja slushy maker for our wedding gift, and I have made some good mead slushies with that.
Oh
Especially what you want to do is with either some fruit or even a sizer,
yeah.
mix a little bit of ice cream in between as you're pouring, and that is just chef's
Oh yeah.
kiss.
I'll tell you what. I think an untapped. I'll say one thing and leave it at that. I think an untapped route in the mead world is mead shakes. Enough said.
Heck yes. Especially in California when it is hot over here, fire season. There's several meaderies that are doing the meat slushies. So
Oh
I
yeah.
say take advantage of that.
Heck yes. And I'm man. So you're down. You're in the say the greater San Diego area. If you're going all the way up to Oceanside, so you've got, I mean, at least half a dozen, if not more, meaderies in that area. Do you tend? I know you've mentioned Lost Cause, but do you venture out and try and sample any of those other meaderies, and do any of those places have any influence other than again, obviously Golden Coast, where you're stationed? Do those other places? Do you have like a SoCal vibe to your stuff?
One thing I appreciate about meat in general is I feel like in terms of professional world, um, everything is different. Everyone has their own thing to their recipes. Not one is the
Sure.
same. And so
Yeah.
I think that is something that, people like me who are in California and have all these meaderies should take advantage of that
Yeah.
because you might find some things you really like in one meadery, but maybe there might be a few things that you don't like, but then you can
Yeah.
go somewhere else for something that you have a craving for. So I do try to go to different meaderies when I can.
Yep.
I would say Lost Cause is probably the only one around here in near South Bay, San Diego.
Yeah.
The other ones are kind of more up North County between Vista and Escondido and
I say
Oceanside.
yeah. So I get to
So
Escondido and Temecula and whatnot. Yeah.
yeah, so you do have Mediocrity, which is they are fantastic, especially with their mold mead. It
See, I
is
never got to try any of their stuff. Every time I went, 3 times I went, at least 3 times I went by their place, and they were closed every time I went by, and it really stinks. But yeah. And then who else is over there? The Twisted Horns over there.
Twisted Horns
Um,
over there. Theirs is very sweet, which
yep.
I like.
Um,
Um,
the cast that just ended up closing down, unfortunately, was at Wild West.
yeah,
I mean, and they were just
theirs
like
was
a stone's
great.
throw from Twisted Horn. I mean, like literally, you could almost see their
Yeah, they were
meters
like a
from each
walking
other.
distance.
Yeah.
They and those guys are fantastic. Me, Man, Mike, and his brother.
Hmm.
I remember when they were first starting out, and they had came to Golden Coast, and they had this amazing chocolate orange mead that was just to die for.
Oh wow, nice.
Um, but then they were going more tea based on a lot of their meats and
Mm.
just absolutely delicious. So I'm pretty heartbroken that they are closed down now, but they were a really great support when I
Yeah,
was living in Oceanside and they were coming to visit, giving feedback. And
super
even
cool.
at Novemberfest, that was before they closed down, we
Yeah,
had a booth, like two booths from each other, and they gave me some good feedback on how I
nice,
could get more fruit notes into it, which I've never tried. So I'm going to be trying that now. So I
nice.
hope they will still be around in our corner and I hope they will come back someday.
Yes. And that's what's really unfortunate is like there it seems to be really indiscriminate about who survives and who doesn't because you can have just speaking regionally right there you can have a place like Batch Mead and Chubby
Hmm.
Cheeks who are literally in the same building like
Hmm.
feet from each other for lack of a better term that can both survive wildly and be successful and you can have two places that are again 100 yards from each other and Twisted Horn continues to do well, has for a number of years. And this place, Wild West, unfortunately, comes and goes in that
Hmm.
a flash in the pan. Unfortunately, it's really it's a dog eat dog world out there, and I feel like I got milk bone
Yeah.
underwear on.
And here in San Diego, the brew world is definitely pretty saturated.
Oh yeah,
Even
absolutely.
before mead started spreading out, back in Oceanside where I lived, you go over to the beach on Coast Highway, and that whole street is just filled with breweries, wineries, cideries,
Yeah,
to just go bar hopping throughout the night. And so some have still stayed, but many have switched out, come and go. So you
yeah,
just gotta hope that your stuff is gonna stick to something where people are gonna remember and want to keep coming back. So
very true.
really great for Golden Coast. They celebrated their 15th anniversary last year. Billy celebrated his 8th anniversary as well. So gonna be
Yeah,
supporting them as much as possible, as well as all the other meaderies, because
heck yeah,
again, we're a community and we all support each other.
absolutely. And speaking of supporting each other, let's get into this last one. Support you, uno mas. Let's see here.
Yee.
We got the Revenge of the Apple Dragon. I don't know if I've ever seen an apple dragon. It sounds kind of neat though. This is a sweet cider made with Lahua blossom honey and apple cider. It looks like a fairly recent batch, 1125.
Yep, it's new. It's a baby.
Ooh.
But that's because my sizers usually don't last that long. Um,
Okay.
so
Well.
the the original recipe was Blood of the Apple Dragon, and that
Okay.
is based off of this new D&D game called A Guide to Floral Dragons, and it's done by One Hit Press. They do a bunch of campaigns, and I did a Kickstarter based
Oh.
off of these beautiful dragons, but they're trees. You got an apple
Nice.
dragon, you got a crab apple dragon, a dandelion dragon, everything you can
Okay.
think of. You get the book, but you can also 3D print the models for your campaigns. And so I did print and paint the apple dragon, and I was all like, let's make a mead based off of him. Because the story is there's two eggs on top of the mountain.
Okay.
uh, Both of them rolled down that hill. One rolled into a lush green forest where people had found it, hatched it, and took care of it to where it was able to grow into a lustrous apple dragon. And then the other sadly had rolled into a desolate land where it knew no love, no food, and it had to survive based off of violence and bitterness to where is like the crab apple dragon, which can its apples can poison and kill you as opposed to the apple dragons which can bring you life.
This is
So
scandalous AF, girl. Come on now. I, I, man, it's bad enough that I have to like survive in the world just like as it is. Now I got to worry about poison apple dragons. No, I mean I love it. And this is all 5e like roll 20 or not roll 20 D20 compatible. Woody woo,
yep,
all that.
yep.
Oh, that's fucking fire. See, I'm I'm stuck in like 3.5. Like I never got past what I graduated high school with, and I'm still like stuck back in that old school mechanic and everything. But I love the concept of so many of these like uh what's the term they use now? One shots. Like people like
Yep.
create these like these one off things that you can, you know, yeah, it's a one off adventure and you can have, you know, your characters, whatever, but you can take that and you can expand on that and make it in your whole own world and you could I mean they've got like the old school D&D stuff, they got like the Forgotten Realms and the Dragonland stuff, but then they got people like, you know, this guy creating his own, or this person creating their own floral drag. I'm here for it. I think it's awesome, and I'm here for that one. So straight away on the nose for the Blood of the Apple Dragon. It's very appley on the nose, and to me personally, I get like borderline. I can't tell if it's like fermented apple juice, apple cider, or if it's apple juice or apple cider that's kind of like gone sideways. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a personal like. Maybe you have some insight in that, but it's always a personal thing that I have with fermented apple products is they always smell like apple juice or apple cider, like that was in my fridge that went sideways. Like I don't know, is that a thing? Like I'm probably just a crazy guy.
No, there's definitely something a little weird about this batch. So my
It's
first version was made with clover blossom honey, and
okay.
I did get a little lazy on this batch.
Lahua.
Usually I add some Honeycrisp apples towards the end before bottling
Okay,
up, and that
sure.
really helps enhance that appleness. I get my cider from Smith Farms. They do pressed apple cider at the farmers markets, so I usually buy it from them.
Yeah.
But there's just something where I don't know if it's too light.
Hmm.
It's just not screaming wow as the original version did.
I
So
gotcha.
I am gonna be making a second batch, and I'll actually split it off. I'll do it again without adding apples, but then I'm gonna add apples to the other split part and see if maybe there's a difference.
So I don't know if this was intended or not, but this is like lightly carbonated in the bottle. Was that intended? Bottle carb.
Yes,
Okay.
I did carbonate with my kegerator.
Okay. Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
just
Thank you
doing a
so
few
much.
batches with that. So,
Oh,
because it did taste a little too light as a
mm-hmm.
still, so I wanted to try to add some carbonation to see if that would help.
a hundred
Um,
percent.
so,
That is an amazing product right there. Like, and I didn't mean any of the things I was saying earlier as like an aside or like a slight
no.
against the product. Like it's just like kind of observation. But no, this is really like a delightful product, and I believe that lightly carbonated was 100% the correct choice. It it would feel a little bit. It would have the same flavor profile, but it would feel again, I guess, flat without it. You know,
Yeah.
having experience now, it would be like, man, this is really good, but man, just a pinch of carbonation and this thing would set
Yep.
this thing off. But oh yeah, this is easily like, man, has this one been in competitions yet?
Not yet.
Oh, this
I
is
got
you're
a
looking
competition
39
cup
to
of it.
42, no problem.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, this is easily 39s to 42s around the board. This is delectable. You do get that little bit of like, if you sit there and search for it, you can get that Lahua blossom characteristic. And I think the fact that you didn't add, um, you know, a discrete apple like a honey crisp, something that's like a really defining characteristic,
Hmm.
kind of adds to it. Man, sizer is something I'm getting ready to make a sizer here myself with, in fact, with clover blossom honey, and I'm really trying to discern, do I want to get, you know, a blend, or do I want to get like a varietal cider or something? I know it's the wrong time of the year, and I'm probably end up going with a blend just because of what's available. But you know, in future batches, is that something that I really want to attempt? But I think in this one, man, your blend, man, you really hit it off with this.
I'm definitely growing to love sizers more and more, but the
100%.
ones I want to make more now, which um, sadly couldn't send to you because it's almost all gone, but
No worry.
I'm really getting into Pimates.
Oh
Before
yeah.
I joined Quaff, I've never had a Pyment, never
Hmm.
bothered trying it.
Yeah.
And one of our quaff members, John, he's been kind of the forefront and collaborating with vineyards across San Diego County where they will
Hmm.
let us come and pick grapes for cents off the pound.
Oh
And
yeah,
so it's kind of been a September thing for the last 2 years.
I got you.
And last year we did do a Nebbiolo blend. Picked
That sounds
about
cool.
500 pounds worth of grapes and divided it amongst those who came. And so I was able to get about 8 gallons worth of pine
Oh,
mints.
fuck yeah.
Yeah. I made 3 different versions. I did Leg of Spider, Eye of Newt, which the name comes from a bunch of spiders being involved. I did not realize picking a bunch of grapes, you're going to have all sorts of spiders crawling about, including some just going into the crusher and still crawling out. So there could have been some protein in that mead. I don't know.
Shit
But I
happens.
figured let's call it leg of spider. And I did that with the chicory honey, which was
Ooh.
a new honey for me. Definitely
Yes.
a very dark, almost molasses type. And it is very interesting to have that with the Nebbiolo blend. So I did a
Gotcha.
big batch of that. And then the other one was Maiden's Tears, which was with blackberries and cinnamon. Love it. Delicious,
Dude.
fantastic, and orange blossom honey was the honey base, and then my absolute favorite one was Nightshade, which was with clover blossom, cinnamon, and hibiscus. And
Man.
oh my god, I regret not making that one the 5 gallon batch
No
because that
kidding.
one was so good. It was such a dark purple, almost black color, like some kind of poison. And
Oh, I'm
that
here for it.
cinnamon and, and hibiscus was just
Yes.
fantastic.
Cinnamon hibiscus is something I'm not sure I've ever had together in the past. I'm really racking my brain to, and I'm here for that. So I may actually, I'm gonna put that down here as my steal from Alex idea right here. Blackberry, hibiscus,
Please,
and
please try
cinnamon.
it. I'm
Oh
gonna try
man,
to replicate it because I do have a bunch of pumice in the freezer. So even though I don't got the juice, I'm gonna make a second version to try to get it somewhat similar. So we'll see how
yeah,
that tastes.
awesome. All
The
right, well
pine mints are just thebomb.com.
wow, you're like you must be about my age because you're using all the right terminology and everything. That's hilarious. Um, Man, well, I appreciate you giving me some time tonight, Alex. You got some time for a few more rapid fire questions, get a little more behind the scenes into who you are?
Go for it.
All right, so rapid fire questions, a little, like I said, a little behind the scenes, a little bit who you are. So, what's the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning?
What work needs to be done?
Ooh, type A
So,
personality, just ready to get to it straight away.
so currently I have 3 part-time positions technically.
Okay.
I used to work at the Japanese Friendship Garden as the education coordinator, but
Yes.
left that last year in the summer, and I am now the community engagement coordinator for San Diego Yokohama Sister City Society. So
Okay.
I help out with a lot of international relations between San Diego and Yokohama, including working with other nonprofits and the
Like the city
government
of
and
Yokohama,
travel
Japan.
agencies. Yes. So our sister city of San Diego is Yokohama, which is a part
Oh,
of Tokyo. And we're doing a lot of work right now with the upcoming Green Expo in Yokohama in 2027. So I am probably going to have to go to Japan a few times to do some work. And we're also working on a huge VR project
No
to
kid. Very cool.
where we're just recording different lives between Japan and
Yeah.
America, tackling some issues, and also just doing a comparison in cultures to try to help promote the friendship.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And then my other job is, of course, the meadery, working on my
Yes.
brand and helping out Golden Coast, trying to get it up there. And then the last one is working for a Japanese hobby shop. Um, the reason why I got into that was because they recently started selling Warhammer
Okay.
products, and the owner does not know anything about Warhammer. We invited her
Gotcha.
over to our house because our garage is like a Warhammer shop, and
Yes.
we explained everything, and she still didn't understand. So she's like, "Hey, if you're looking for another part-time job, why don't you come work for us?
My
You can
most
be."
recent model. Awesome.
I work. Trust me, I paint every single day.
Oh,
um, but
awesome.
I decided to take on the job as their sales rep for Games
Yes.
Workshop, as well as helping them do more community-based events like Build and Paint and Warhammer 101 workshops. So I
Yes.
am always busy. And then on top of that, I'm still home brewing. And then on top of that, I'm 3D printing. And then on top of that, I'm painting 3D prints and
Yes.
miniature models. So, yeah,
You're
that's
all
my start of the day is what am I going to do first?
man. Well, you're also you entered so last year I hosted a couple like mead making competition. You had entered one that was make a red mead that was similar to Darth Maul. And you were my wife's favorite entry. You quickly become her favorite mead maker. So and
Oh.
yeah, so given all your your stories you're telling, like you're just an amazing mead maker, an amazing person in general. So I'm glad to have you on the have the podcast and a friend. So all right, hot or cold?
I'm going to take hot. No, cold, 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 cold. I got to do cold because I
Only
got
one takes
the
backsies. You get one takes backsies
we'll
to the
do
whole rapid
cold.
fire. We're
I
doing
can't say
cold,
hot because I will have the AC on and the fan on and the window open in my
but then be
room
under
going
all
to
the
bed.
blankies.
But then I'm always hogging all the blankets before my husband goes to bed.
Yeah,
So
God, you and my wife are the same fucking person. It's ridiculous. Uh, all right. Toilet paper, hang over the front like a beard or back like a mullet.
over like a beard.
Beards are cool, absolutely. Favorite breakfast cereal, either from when you were a kid or still currently.
I would say cinnamon toast crunch
Yo,
because
yo,
come
CTC
on,
baby.
when that milk is like all saturated in that cinnamon sugar, that is good to drink.
It, it
And it
is
makes a good cereal bar.
it is deniable. It is hard to deny. I agree with you there. Um, burgers, pizzas, or tacos.
Oh, that's really hard since I got the best of all three here. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
ta- I'm gonna say tacos
definitely got some of the best
because
tacos. I'll agree with that.
we are
100%.
close to the border, so we do get a lot
Yes.
of opportunity to go and try stuff over there. And I live about a 10-minute drive from the border. Um, yeah,
No kidding.
but I probably get tacos once or twice a week.
Yeah, moving to
Because
Virginia from Phoenix, my Mexican food selection has greatly dwindled in quality and quantity.
you
It
gotta
really
start
breaks my
coming here
heart.
for vacation. We're expensive, but you know what? We got some good food.
You know what? I got enough people there. I could probably make that happen. First car.
I actually don't have a car.
Snap. Shell
My
never had a
husband's
first
got a
car. All right.
car.
Okay.
I've never been a driver. I don't drive
Fair.
because and it's a little bit of a fear. I don't like to be on the road here because drivers
Hey,
here are insane,
I've
in
been to
my
San Diego,
opinion.
baby. You ain't got to tell me. I know exactly how that is. Man,
San Diego drivers, I'm sorry, they're kind of dumb. And then you got your LA drivers who are just plain angry.
Yep.
It will drive you off the road.
And you got
So
all
if
those
I had it
entitled
my
people up in
way,
El Cajon and fuck all
yep.
that. And
If I had it my way, I would walk everywhere.
oh, and luckily you live somewhere that where that's almost possible to live.
Yeah,
Like you got to have a car in the family, but you can get a lot of shit done on foot patrol.
it's decent public transportation. Not as
Yep.
great as Japan because their transportation is on time every day, even in the snow.
Right.
But it's also just cheaper than having a car right now because all the insurance,
100%.
car payments. I don't want to worry about that.
I don't blame you. Worst job you've ever had?
I'm gonna say at the grocery store.
Fair
Working
enough.
in a grocery store, especially in the deli department, is probably one of the most abusive jobs I
You
have ever
literally are the
experienced.
same. You were literally are the same person as my wife. That's like her almost all her grocery store experience was working in the deli and yeah. So I
Worked
can
there for 8 years during college before I moved to Japan. And you got the customers who want to yell at you because they
yep.
want fresh chicken, even though the chicken literally just popped out. You got your bosses who don't want to have your back, but you still got to make sure everything is cleaned, and you got to have your platters ready. You got to be full, and then you
Oh
got your
yeah.
people who are just plain shoplifting, but you can't stop them from doing it.
I swear to God, you
It's-
like you are my wife. You say the exact same thing. She worked at a in the deli at Sprouts for about the same amount of time, about 8 or 9 years. And I mean, being from Southern California, I'm sure you're aware of Sprouts.
yep.
And oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's a lot of people coming in there with an entitled attitude, and when they shouldn't
hmm
be.
But I will say it helped me stay in college because I did not want to stay there for the rest of my life.
Absolutely the fuck not. Um, and speaking thereof, getting out of college, if you could have any superpower, what would you have?
mm, the ability to eat whatever I want and not gain weight.
Mm.
I love food, as you can tell with just me pairing meads with food.
Oh,
I eat as if it's a hobby, more of to survive. And you know
you're
what? I
awesome,
don't
Alex.
care if I get a little thick.
Oh
As
no,
long as I'm
absolutely not.
happy, then that's what matters.
Absolutely. Could not have put it better myself. Um, what's your current favorite beer or mead you're drinking?
Mm, unfortunately, I'm not drinking it anymore because it's out. But last year, my favorite was the Boom from Lost Cosmetery.
Ooh,
Um, it was based off of this type of cherries, which apparently there's only two orchards of this cherries in the U.S. One of the orchards is actually located here with one of our quaff members, and
oh, cool.
he was willing to let Billy come and get some cherries to make it into a mead. And I believe
Nice.
it was with metafoam honey, and it tasted like a cherry pie.
Nicely
It
done.
was so good. I was willing to spend so much money to keep drinking that. I already had plenty of bottles at home, but every time I was going there, I was making sure to have a couple big chalices worth because that one
Excellent.
was just delicious.
How about your favorite out of town meadery?
Mm, my favorite out of town
I use the
meadery.
term favorite loosely.
I guess out of town, I would say Honey Pot. For me, that's out of town. That's out of town for me because I don't want to drive all the way
70
up
miles
there.
away is not out of town, but I feel you.
Okay, there is one in particular. I believe it's called Open Guard Meadery.
Upper Guard up in
They're
Washington.
yeah. I started doing their Viking Elite Club, and
Yes.
there's a couple meads that I really liked.
Hmm.
They did a whiskey barrel aged mead last year that just the aroma of it, but it
Yes.
wasn't harsh, was just really well done. And then another one was their cherry limeade. I don't know
Yes.
how they were able to get it, but I've tried doing cherry limeade and it's just something I haven't been able to get it right.
Yes.
But they nailed it. It is delicious.
Well, I actually went to high school with John Opegard. Him and I used to
No
be roommates, and
kidding.
oh yeah, I know John really well. And I distributed for them when I was still living in Arizona. Reach out to him, tell him I sent you that way. I'm sure he'll help you out in whatever capacity with your cherry limeade recipe because he's an awesome cat.
Yep,
Um,
delicious.
yes. If you're going out to the bar drinking, we doing pool, darts, or shuffleboard.
I can't play darts, but I do darts.
Fair enough.
It's just cool to throw.
Favorite or best Halloween costume?
Vampire. It's something
Solid.
that I've done for most of my life. My handle for a lot of my online stuff is Vampire Kitten. Because I
Love
love
it.
cats and I love vampires. When I had my cat before leaving college, 20 years old, we would dress up as vampires every year. And he was trained to be on the leash. We would go around the
Nice.
neighborhood and the neighbors would have treats for him, and he'd be my little vampire bat, and I'd be the vampire empress.
Yes, I'm loving it. If you could star in any movie remake, who would you choose to replace as the star? So like I would choose to replace Keanu Reeves in The Matrix because I think being Neo would be like the dopest shit ever.
Oh gosh, I actually don't have an answer for that, and
Fair enough. That's a pretty
it's
oddball fucking question.
mostly because shamefully to say, I do not do well with memorizing actors' names.
Fair enough.
I might know them by their character,
Well, feel
but
free to, yeah, just a role if you could like if there's a movie role like man, I'd really like to want to be the princess and Princess Bride, or I want to be I want to be Superman and Man of Steel or whatever to be.
I don't know. I don't really have an answer for
That's
that.
fair.
That's a
That, like I
hard
said, it's kind
one.
of an oddball question. All
That is
right,
a thinker.
and then well, I guess to round it out, then my name is Alex, and I am a
Amazing witch.
could not have put it better myself. Alex, thank
Cooking
you
up some
so much.
brews. Thank you.
Amazing award-winning mead maker right here, member of Quaff down there in the San Diego area. Anybody who's down in that area, if you're not, for whatever reason, a member of Quaff, get down there. I'm assuming they're always accepting homebrew members and whatnot,
Always.
and they will help you get your shit in order. They got a bunch of I know a bunch of those members already, and they got a great mentality, great personality, and nothing but your best interest in heart. So join the Quaff Cats down there. Get down to Lost Cause, drink some of their meads. Anybody in the SoCal area, like I said, Twisted Horde, Mediocrity, Honeypot Batch, Chubby Cheeks. Who else we got down there? Raging Ciders down that way. Like I said, Twisted
Saber
Horn, whoever.
Springs.
Yeah, everybody get down. And if you're ever in that area, there's a lot of mead within like a small, it's say 100-mile circle. It sounds big, but it's really not. And there's a lot of great mead that's worth sampling. So thank you so much, Alex, for joining me tonight. I know we had a couple missed hits, but I'm glad we made it happen because I think it was well worth it. And again, thank you for giving me some of your time. And when next
Of
time I need
course.
somebody to translate one of my mangas, I'm gonna hit you up.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a good evening, and I will catch you in the next one.
All right, you too.
Bye. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for showing up, and appreciate you for watching. I got a solid batch coming up for 2026. We may be moving over to the YouTube platform that has been the plan all along. Unfortunately, we are having a handful of technical difficulties, but like I said, nonetheless, we'll be having videos coming at you regardless of where they're at, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.